Good afternoon. I hope everybody is now back in the classroom, Zoom classroom.
Yeah, I think we got everybody here.
Okay, then let's start our afternoon session of the class. Welcome back, everybody. I wish you happiness, blessing, and wisdom. I want to continue what Buddha has said. In today's morning, you have already learned the Buddha's own word regarding the nature and aspect of the Nibbana. Now I would like to share what Buddha has said in one relevant sutta regarding positive side of life, as well as negative sides. Buddha said on the second Asada Sutta. Asada means the pleasure, the discourse on the pleasures and joys of life. This is the second discourse recorded in Buddhist texts. This discourse is also very inspiring and very impressive of the Buddha's wisdom. In this discourse, Buddha said, if there were no joy and pleasure in life, nobody will enjoy life. That's what Buddha said. To quote Buddha's word, no jedam bhikkhve loki asado abhavisa nayidam saddha loki sarijeyo. Disciple, in this war and life, if there had not been any joy or any pleasure available, nobody, no living beings will enjoy life. This is the first line of the Buddha's word. Now, second line of the Buddha's word. Let me share. Yasma jako bhikkhve atti loki asado tasma loki saddha sarijandi. Because there is pleasure and joy available in life, that is the reason why people and living beings are happy in this war and this life. These are the statements regarding the joy and pleasure of life. Now, opposite of it, Buddha said, no jedam bhikkhve loki adinavo abhavisa nayidan saddha loki nibbindeyo. Disciple, if there had not been any kind of frustrating and troublesome experience in this life, nobody will be fed up with life. Yasma chako bhikkhve ati loke adino. Because there are negative points of frustration and disappointment for people, for living beings. Tasma saddha loke nibbindani. For this reason, there are living beings and people who are tired of life. So this statement is regarding the negative side of the life. What Buddha says is very clear. In the same way, there is a pleasure and joy. And there's also things, bad things, which cause frustration, disappointment, and sadness. And because of this, there are people who are very tired of living life and who try to find a way out. Now, the third statement, no se dam bhikkhve loke naisaranan abhavis naidan saddha lokama naisariyo. Disciple, if there has been no exit, no escape from what is bad and what is frustrating, there's no way for people to find a way out. But Buddha said, Yasma Jago Bhikkhve Ati Lokara Nisrana. Because there is an exit path, a way of getting out of such kind of trouble and suffering. Tatama Saddha Lokama Nisrani. Therefore, there are beings, living beings, and people who can get out of suffering. This is what Buddha said. Now let me continue explaining so that you can respect Buddha's wisdom. And these the next statements are more deeper. Yawaki Wunja Bhikkhve Saddha Lokasa Asadinja Asadasto Adinuenja Adinuasto Nesrinja Nesranado Yathabudan Nabenya. So as long as people and living beings don't clearly understand both positive nature and negative nature of life, and also along with the exit path out of all that, as long as they don't know the nature of complete positive side of life and negative side of life, and the way of exiting out of that, Niwa Dawa Bhikkhve Saddha Sadhyuga Loka Samaraka Sajamaka Sasamana Bhyamaniya Pajaya Sadhya Manusaya Nisada Visayuda Vaipa Muda Vimriya Krina Chaitata Viridu. Until then, all those beings, human beings, as well as divine beings, and those in the high heaven, hermits and the monks, and those ascetics, those holy beings, and all people will not be able to set up a clear line, a clear path of liberation. They will not be able to live life in such a distinctive manner. Yatojago Bhikkhve Lokasa Asadanja Asadato Adinawanja Adinwacho Nisrananja Nisranado Yatabudan Abhinyato. It is only when, at the moment, people start clearly understanding about positive nature of life as being positive, pleasurable, and negative side as negative, as as troublesome. And only then they will be able to liberate, to set themselves free, to live life with a clear line drawn between what causes suffering and what causes peace and what causes liberation. And so these words are the Buddha's words. What Buddha mentioned about is very clear. There are positive side of life. Pleasure, joy, happiness, available out of this life. So the life has to offer pleasure and happiness and joy. And we have to look for it. At the same time, it also offers unexpected sadness and suffering and disappointment. So this is a negative one of life. So we have to know about it. Although we don't want, nobody wants it. Nobody wants it, but they come out like the coronavirus nowadays. Nobody wants it, but it comes up. So Buddha said, in the same way, there is also the part of exit, the way out of it, and the way to leave everything behind it. This part is called exit part. In Pali, it's called the Nisarana. Ni means out. Sara means going out. Na means at of going out, at of leaving all those frustrating and disappointing, suffering things behind. So normally, ordinary people, when they have to live through suffering, they don't know how to get out of it. Most of them, they're just trying to look for a shortcut, instant exit. We see such stories about people who find the immediate exit by pulling the trigger of the gun toward themselves, turning the gun on oneself, then toward one's own spouse and one's own beloved children, because they don't know the way out. This is not the real exit. What Buddha want to understand is the part of exit is a mental training, proper management of one's own life with the wisdom and with the far-sighted vision. And Buddha continued to say the words I have already said. What Buddha says is that as long as people don't know positive side of life and negative bad side of life, and also the exit, they will not be able to set themselves free. They will not be able to set themselves free from the kind of frustrating situation. They will not be able to draw the line or to set up the boundaries. With the clear boundaries, they will be able to live the what causes suffering, what doesn't cause suffering. So what Buddha says is very simple. As long as we don't know positive side and negative sides and the exit part clearly, we will not be able to liberate ourselves. We will not be able to get out of the bad situation. This is what Buddha has said. And then Buddha will continue to explain. Only when people understand completely about the positive side of life and negative side of life and the way out of that, and they will be able to live themselves out of that, to move themselves out of that, and to set themselves free from this kind of ongoing suffering. By being able to draw a clear line between what causes suffering and what doesn't cause suffering. So this second discourse named the second pleasures discourse, Dutiya Asara Sutta, It's very interesting. Now, there is another discourse, what Buddha said in continuation of these words. In that discourse, Buddha mentioned about the role of the teachers, the role of the saints. The role of teacher, the role of saints is not to talk about positive and negative sides of life alone. They must point out the exit part. Now, please let me share what Buddha has said. In the discourse, Buddha said clearly, the name of this discourse is called the Samana Brahmana Sutta, the noble teachers, which can be interpreted as the noble teachers. Now let me quote, Yekeji Bhikkhue, Samanawa Brahmanawa, Lokasa Asadinja Asadado, Adinawanja Adinawado, Nesraninja Nesranado, Yatabudana Bajanandi, Namete Bhikkhue, Samanawa, Brahmanawa, Samaniduwa, Samana Samda, Brahmaniduwa, Brahmana Samda. Now, translation. If a teacher, either an ascetic or a Brahmin, doesn't clearly know the pleasure of life as the pleasure, the joy of life as the joy, the frustration and the disappointing things of life as the frustration and suffering. And if he doesn't know the exit way as the right exit path, then he cannot be recognized, he cannot be called as the ascetic and the holy Brahmin. He doesn't deserve to lead people, to guide the people. What Buddha says is very clear. A true teacher, a true saint who give guidance and who teach the people should clearly understand the pleasures and joy of life as the pleasure and joy, and also as the suffering and frustration of life as it is. And also he must know the exit path as the right exit path. He must know the right exit path. He must also know positive and negative side of life. Why? Buddha explain. Nasapana diasmando saminyatana abhyaminyatana ditivatame siambenya sichikadwa upasambicha wirani. Such teacher will not be able to achieve the highest spiritual goal because they don't know truthfully about positive and negative aspect of life. These are very deep, practical truth of Buddha's words. Yesa ko keji bhikkhue samanawa bhyamanawa lokasa asarinya asadado adinwenja adinwato nesnenja nesnado yathabudam vajanandi te ko bhikkhue samanawa bhyamanawa samani suwa samana samda brahmane suwa brahmana samda. Disciples, I say very clearly, those ascetic monks, hermits, and Brahmins who clearly understand both positive side of life and negative side of life, and who also know the exit spiritual path truthfully, only such people, only such teacher will be able to achieve the spiritual goal they have intended. In the same way, they will be able to lead others to achieve such kind of spiritual goal. So these are very clear. This sutta is very simple and also very deep. The true teacher must know the true nature of life, both positive side of life and negative side of life. One cannot point only the negative side alone. One cannot point only positive side alone. One must know all this already by himself. And also one must be able to know the way out of the troublesome experience, troublesome things of life. So only by knowing both positive and negative side of life and the exit path to achieve peace and happiness, then he will be himself be a good, well-qualified teacher. Only then such a teacher can give guidance to the people on the spiritual path for liberation, spiritual path to achieve lasting peace and happiness. This discourse you can read in the Anguttara Nikaya text. I will give you the name of this discourse, but the English translation may not be complete translation. So I'm trying my best to explain. Now, I want to share one more important teaching regarding the Nibbana. This discourse is very interesting because it explains about the Nibbana in more practical terms. This discourse has been on account of a divine being. A divine being named Rohitasa came to Buddha at the night time to ask question. I hope some of you may be a little bit familiar with what Buddha usually did at the night time. Now let me explain before I go into the sutta. Buddha's daily schedules are divided into the three sections. The first section is called the pre-lunch time schedule. And second section is called the post-lunch time schedule. And next section is called the first part of the night session. And next part of schedule is called the midnight session, midnight and late night session. Midnight and late night sessions are reserved for the Buddha to rest. Pre-lunch and post-lunch session, and from post-lunch session to early night sessions are reserved for the human being. In the morning, in the late night session, Buddha usually take rest, retire into his private chambers called the Ganda Kuti. He remained there for a little more than 3 hours, lying down and relaxing, but actually not sleep. His consciousness is absorbed into the Vimukti dhatus. It explain a little bit because Vimukti Dhatu is very difficult to explain. In simple words, I can use it as a trance, something like a trance. The mind is alert, but the body is very quiet and still. At the more prescribed time, about the 3:30 and 3:45 in today's mechanical clock, he just get up. He just do necessary cleaning and washing up. Then he start his more early morning meditation. And this time it's called the Mahakaruna Samapatti, great infinite compassion based meditation. First he enter into his meditation absorption state, then he come out of it based on his compassion, great compassion. He is check all the direction. He scan all the direction by using the omnidirectional eye. Omnidirectional eye is not a physical eye given by his mother. It's not his physical eye, his spiritual eye. Sometimes it is referred to as the Samanta Chaku. Samanta means unidirection. Chaku means eye, unidirectional eye. It is actually psychic ability, mental energy, mental power, and known as Sabbenyuta Jnana. He checked with that great psychic power, scanning around all directions. If someone comes into his view, like the way we used to see things in the LCD screen of the iPad and computer and iPhone, Buddha also clearly see that person. That person come into his view. Then he check what kind of help necessary for that person. He check where he live, what situation he's been living, going through, and what kind of assistance, urgent assistance he needs. If he found out that that person's lifespan is not going to live longer than a few days, etc. If his situation is very serious, he is going to attain enlightenment, then Buddha usually go depending on urgency of the situation. If situation is very serious, he go himself alone. If situation is still possible to delay a certain amount of time, and then he postpone. Only at a certain time he go and see that person by traveling to the place where he may live. Sometimes by means of the psychic power, sometimes just ordinary means. Sometimes he took all the monks with him. Sometimes he just go alone. It depends on situation. This is his morning routine. And evening also, one time in evening, he also scan. It's maybe about 3:45, etc. In the evening time. He check again to different direction, 4 direction, looking for someone to save. If that person's need is very serious, he decided to go immediately. If not serious, he just wait time. So these are 2 times of scanning performed by the Buddha by means of his omnidirectional psychic eye. At the other time, he just gave a Dhamma talk when he just come out of his chamber, and then he gave a few brief talk, and then they just go to the city there for alms round. If there's an invitation for breakfast or lunch, he just go there. If there's no, he just go to alms round, and then he just come back. And after lunch, Buddha gave a brief 5 minutes brief instruction, important notes. And in the afternoon time, maybe about 2 o'clock, this is for the monk. At the evening time, for all the people, both the citizen of the people of the city and the monks all come together. It's a great congregation, big audience. When it is late night, let's say about 9 o'clock, then it's been all the Dhamma talk and all the meeting is finished. And the remaining times are for Buddhas alone. At the night time, when Buddha will retire into his place, this time is reserved for the divine beings. Divine beings usually came to the Buddha at the night time. On the rare occasions, sometimes some divine beings, they come to the Buddha at the daytime. But most of the divine beings from the heaven came to pay respect to the Buddha at the night time and with the different purpose. Some people, they just come to ask the question to clarify that out. Some people, they will come to receive guidance, etc. So the Rohitasa is the name of the Brahma from the heaven, the high heaven. He came to the Buddha to see the Buddha and to ask the question. When he came, it was recorded in Buddhist texts. Now let me share what is said in the Buddhist text. Okay, excuse me. I'm looking for the Reuters Sutta. During that time, Buddha was staying in the city of Savatthi in the Chetagro monastery. At the night time, at the midnight, because that's a midnight time. In the Buddhist text, it is clearly mentioned about that. Thakho Rohitaso Deva Buddha Abhikandaya Radiya Abhikanda Wano Kevala Kapam Jeda Wanam Oba Siddhava Yena Bhagava Denupa Sangami. Once the midnight comes, the Rohitasa, divine angel named Rohitasa, came to pay respect to the Buddha from the heaven with the shining brilliant lights, and the whole compound of the Cheta Grove monastery was bright with his brilliant light coming out of his body. The divine angel Rohitasa approached to the Buddha. Having approached the Buddha, he paid respect by a gesture of clapping his hands together. And having paid respect, he stand up at the appropriate place. And having stand up at the appropriate place, then Rohitasa, divine being, said to the Buddha the following words. Now let me quote what he said. Yata nuko bande na jayadi, na jiyadi, na miyadi, na jawadi, na upapajadi, saka nuko so bande, kamane na logas ando, nyadungwa ditong, tatungwa papunitongwa. Venerable Buddha, I want to ask this important question. Is it possible for us or for anyone to go to reach by traveling to the end of their life, the end of the world? Or is it possible to know or see oneself or reach physically by traveling to the point of the end of the life, end of the world, where there is no more but no more old age, no more death, no more migration from one life to another life, no more conception. So this question is very interesting and very important. The divine angel Rohitasa asked a question to the Buddha. Lord Buddha, do you think it is possible to know, to see, or to reach to the point where there is no more birth, no more death, no more old age, no more migration, and no more conception? Either by traveling physically or any means. What he asks is only very simple. So can we go to the end of the life, the end of the world, where there is always eternity? Nobody gets being reborn, nobody gets reborn, nobody gets old, nobody gets die. Always changeless. Then Buddha's answer is also very simple. Buddha answer. Now let me say only in English. Well, divine angel, I don't claim, I don't say that there is a possibility to know or to witness or to reach at the point where there is no more birth, no more old age, no more death, no more migration, no more conception. This is the reply of the Buddha. To this reply, the divine angel Rohitasa said the following words. Isriyam Bande, Aputam Bande. Venerable sir, what you say is so amazing and wonderful. Why? He said, Yawa Subadita Mida Bande Bhagavata. Yata ko awuso najadi, najidi, namidi, nasodi, naubabiti. Nahandang Gamina Logasta and Yadiya, Tatiyan, Badayo and Yurami. What you answer is very correct. I accept. You answer my question that it is not possible to know or to see or to reach at the point where there's no more birth, no more old age, no more death, no more migration, no more conception. I'm very amazed at your wisdom because I have my own experience. The Rohitasa share his experience in the following words. Now to quote his word, Buddha Bobaham Bandi Rohitaso Nama Isi Hodi Boja Buddha Edima Weha Sangamo. Lord Buddha, I have been an ascetic hermit in my previous life before I was born in the heaven. In this life as a Rohitasa. In that life, I was a hermit living in the forest, but I achieved my spiritual goal of attaining the highest absorption stage of jhana. So I was able, by means of my jhana and absorption in psychic power, I was able to travel and on the sky. My speed is also very quick. He said, "That's a mission bandi ewa rubos wohodi. Sa Venerable Sir, I possess such kind of speed. Seyatabi nama dan la dhamma. Danogho sekido kadahato kadubasno lhukena asanina abakasirena diriyang talichayang atipadeya." To show as an example, it is like the speed of arrow shot by a well-trained archer. A well-trained archer and also sharpshooter. He can shoot his arrow within an instant. That arrow can travel so fast within a second. I have such kind of speed. Now, Bande, Venerable Buddha, I would like to speak my steps. The length of my step or the feet I can make. Tata Meshan Bande Ewa Rubo, Bada Widi Haro Hosi, Seatabi Nama, Prachima Smuda, Pichima Smudo. Venerable Buddha, my gap of each feet in every step I make is quite large, like this side of this ocean and to the other side of the ocean. I can step one single step I make is such a huge distance. It covers a huge distance because I have such kind of ability, psychic ability and speed. I start thinking about that. I think I should go and see the end of the world. So he decided to go and look for the end of the universe. So he just trying to see the end of the universe, the boundary of the universe, by means of his psychic ability of traveling in such a huge speed. Bande, I continue traveling from one planet to another planet by means of my psychic ability, except when I take rest, I sleep, I drink, or most of the time, I'm trying to travel to great distances, looking for the end of the world. I live 100 years, 400 years, looking for the end of the world by travel, and not being able to see the end of the world. I die on the way. This is my experience. What you say is very amazing and very wonderful. What you say is true and correct. It is totally impossible to know and to see and to reach at the end of the war, where there's no more burden, no more old age, no more death, no migration, no conception, by merely traveling. So replying the Reuters, the angel, at this point, Buddha said the following words. Now let me translate those words in English. Now I want to say divine angel. I want to repeat again. I say that it is impossible to either to see or to know or to reach at the point of the world, the end of the world, or life, where there's no more birth, no old age, no death, no migration, and no conception. But Buddha said, Na saham au so abadawa wa logasa andan dokasa andagriyan warami. I also say that there is also no possibility to make the end of suffering by not reaching the end of the world, the end of the world. In order to end suffering, one has to reach the end of war, the end of life. That's what Buddha had want to say. So I want to repeat again. What Buddha says is that without reaching the end of the world, the end of life, it is also impossible to end suffering, to put complete end to the suffering. In order to put complete end to suffering, one need to reach the end of life, the end of the world. This is the Buddha's confirmation. So we have to understand that in order to put an end to the suffering, we also need to reach the end of the world, the end of life. Okay, now let's have a break. Now let's continue. So in the Rohitasa Sutta, Buddha said, in order to end the suffering, we have to also reach the end of suffering, the end of life. The end of life is not by dominating our life, but it's the point where we can dominate the vicious cycle of the suffering by means of the penetrating knowledge, inside knowledge. Now, please let me share what Buddha has said in Pali. This word I'm going to share is more direct to the point so that you can have a clear understanding, a clear picture, a clear idea of the Buddha's teaching regarding the Nibbana. Now let me quote what Buddha has said. Apichahang awuso ima samenyewa pyama mati kaleware sa senyemi sa manakoi loganja panya pemi loga samudayanja loga nirodanja loga niroda gami ninja padipadanti. These are original words said by the Buddha. The meanings are also very deep and very wonderful. Now let me interpret these words word by word. Also is the term which Buddha used to address the divine being. Okay, divine being. Apija means in fact. Aham means I. In fact, I declare imasmeyewa only this pyama made which can be measured in a pupil's kaleware physical body. Sat senyemi together with the consciousness, samanege, together with the spiritual being. Lokancha Pinyabimi, I declare this is life. Lokas Buddha, here is the cause of all the uh, being. Loka Nirodinsa, here is the point of cessation of the suffering. Loka Niroda Gami Ninja Padiviran, here is the point or the path that can lead to the end of suffering. So do literally make these words in a very clearly comprehensible English translation. It will mean that now, divine angel, I only declare that life, its cause, its cessation, and the path to cessation are to be found and to be recognized only in this body, which is measured in acute phase. So this is what Buddha said. At this point, I want to explain Buddha's concept of the term loka. Pali term loka means life. And it also means war. In Hindustani, the word is lok. In Sanskrit, it's loka. And Sanskrit and Pali have the same meaning. There's not much different, except in Hindi. Hindi, it also means people. So what Buddha said is that the life is to be defined in this body. And the cause of suffering is only to be defined inside our mental function. And the sensation of suffering is also to be defined along the spiritual interaction. And the path to reach the end of suffering is only to be discovered in our inner being. So we need to understand Buddhist definition of the term loka. The term loka in Buddha's teaching is defined in two. One is called internal world, internal universe. In Pali, this is called Ijata Loka, inner universe, inner world. The second category is called the Bheda Loka. Bheda Loka means outer universe, external universe, and external world, external life. In other words, to use contemporary English, we can say macrocosm and microcosm. An individual being is a small inner universe where an individual being lives by and lives through. His daily existence is defined in his physical body and his spiritual being. So this is what's called the inner universe, an individual small universe and micro universe, where an individual being feel, experience joy, pleasure, pain, suffering, grief, and so many things. On the other hand, external world, external universe is a very wide environment, which includes our family members, friends, and fellow human beings, and animals and physical structure of this planet Earth and all those outside. The suns and the moons and the stars and endless galaxies and all these included. These are external universe. To define the end of suffering, the end of war, individually, you can do it by use of the Buddha's spiritual path. To define and to look for the end of the external war, it is totally futile and useless. Why? According to Buddha's teaching, the world systems are infinite. In Buddha's teaching, there are 4 kinds of infinities. The world systems are infinite. The species of life forms are infinite. And the space is infinite. And the wisdom of the Buddhas is infinite. All these are called 4 infinities. Buddha said there can be no clear boundary of this planet, Earth, and other universe, because everything's located on the boundless space, empty space. Space is the base of the matter, according to Buddha's teaching, which clearly explained in the Panasa text. Matter occupying space. The space is the base of the matter. That's what Buddha said. I don't know what scientists say. According to Buddha's in Buddhist text, Buddha clearly mentioned about that. The space is the foundation of the matter. The matter occupies it. So, external world, external universe, external life is endless. It is totally irrelevant to set up the boundaries or any clear delineations of the borders of the universe. But it is possible to set up the boundary and line of the terminal point of our inner being, inner universe, where there is no more suffering, where there is no more constant action of the matter and spiritual energy. This is what's called the Nibbana. In this statement, Buddha said, here I define life. Here I define the cause of the suffering. Here I define the point where the suffering is coming to a close. Here I define the part, spiritual part, and a physical and social part, applicable part for those who are on the spiritual training to reach there. So altogether, Buddha taught us 4 modes of the possible boundary. We can define our life, our suffering here in this body, which is to be measured about a few feet, 6 feet, or a little over more than that, a few over 6 feet. And here we can define the cause, loka samudaya. Sometimes it's referred to as the samudaya, the truth of the samudaya, the cause of dukkha. Here, Buddha defined and the point of the peace where we, individual being, can achieve and enter into the peace, blissful peace. And it is only here in this fathom body, fathom missionary body, to find the spiritual path. In this case, final spiritual path is to Buddha means to recognize samatha. Pali word he used pinya pemi. Here one can set up the bound the lines and necessary rules for the spiritual path, which can lead to the end of suffering. Once we understand this, it will be much easier to understand the Nibbana. So Nibbana is to be achieved inside our being, in our being. Buddha said in the Rohidasa Sutta discourse, no, it is not possible to reach the end of the world and the end of life by traveling, but it is also impossible to end suffering without reaching the end of life, the end of world. Therefore, the wise people, the wise with a deep wisdom, who have done spiritual practice and work on the spiritual path, they can know the end of suffering and the end of world. Knowing this, they see what it is, what causes suffering, what doesn't cause suffering. So this is what Buddha mentioned in this discourse. By understanding this, we can appreciate what Buddha has said. The way to reach the Nibbana is through spiritual path, which we have to apply in our spiritual training. Buddha has taught the ways as the Noble Eightfold Paths. The Noble Eightfold Paths and developing 5 faculties which serve as a dynamism, spiritual dynamic energies to develop positive wholesome mental states. And we have to apply 7 factors of enlightenment to reach there. To do that, we have to develop those factors of enlightenment by means of the meditation practice. The foundation is moral practice, morality. Moral practice is observing the moral precepts. Observing moral precepts will make us wholesome and decent human beings. Observing the moral precepts will empower the mind, will purify the bhava action, bodily action, and the mental states as a preliminary preparation. And we can continue our spiritual journey by using the Noble Eightfold Paths, right understanding, and right thinking, and right speech, right action, and in the right livelihood for the support of oneself and family. Then making right effort and having right mental focus and mindfulness. Then developing concentration, sustained degree of concentration. This way, we can see our own mind, our own spirit, face to face, closely. We will be able how it can manipulate, how it can perform both good and bad things. When positive mental conditions gain momentum and develop to sustained degree of the strength, the mind will become very tame and very polite. It will no longer behave in a very wild manner. Normally, our mind is like untrained monkey. Untrained monkey always move around here and there, and mischievous, doing this and that. Monkey never satisfied with even with a toy in his hand. It always look around here and there, being restless all the time. It keep moving, it never rests, except when it become very tired and sleep. Most of the time it's restless. In the same way, our mind is like a monkey mind, very restless. We need to train it. To train it, we must not use any kind of physical restraint. We only use the mental training. To train the mind, we have to use the mind. That mind is meditative mind. We have to transform ordinary mind into meditative mind. We have to transform negative mental conditions into positive mental states by having right understanding and right knowledge and right effort through the study and teaching of the Buddha. So far, I have explained regarding technical points and complex aspect of the Nibbana. I have also explained by use of the Buddha's own word how simple and how it is a clear concept, not hiding in any kind of mysticism or any kind of very thick layer of philosophical, theoretical entanglement. It's now very clear for all of us that Nibbana is to attain inside our being, inner being, because suffering and also pleasure, happiness and unhappiness are experienced in one individual level, individual being. This is just only starting point. Um, uh, Actually, there are other conditions, different conditions. What Buddha says as a generalization of the experience. People experience their pain, their pleasure inside their inner being. So the real point of the end, where one can dominate suffering, is only in our inner being, our individual inner small universe, small inner universe. So this small inner universe is our individual world. This individual world also very important to make it livable and to make it comfortable, to make it peaceful. To do that, we need to apply Noble Eightfold Paths and develop positive seven factor of enlightenment mental qualities. Only then we will be able to achieve our goal. That's what it means through this discourse of the Buddha. This is the practical aspect. By studying this, you will come to realize, that the Nibbana and the Loka and the Samudaya and Nirodha and Magga are all to be recognized and to be discovered in our individual micro-universe. So let me continue to explain some practical incidents of the Buddha's disciple who have lived a practical life, like the way Buddha mentioned. Before I start talking about some disciple, I would like to mention what Buddha has said in one of the discourse. This discourse is very interesting because it is relevant for our life. This discourse is called the Dona Sutra. Dona is the name of a Brahmin. He is a highly respected Brahmin. He's also the teacher of a lot of students. This Brahmin served as an arbitrary judge after the Buddha entered into Pranidhana. What kind of arbitrary judge he served? When Buddha entered into Pranidhana and when the Buddha's body was cremated, the physical remains come up in the form of the small beads, white color beads, known as the Srira Dhatu, physical relic or physical remains of the Buddha's body. These serve usually as the Buddha's representative body. Many devotees, even today, among the Buddhist community, are devoted to the relics. How the relics come up is very wonderful. It's due to the power of the spiritual power of enlightenment. When is monk or the Buddha attaining perfect enlightenment, he became a perfect saint because his mind always remained calm and pure, agitated by defilement. No more defilement ever recur in the mind of the saint. So their conduct is also pure. Because their mind and their conduct are pure and holy, their physical remain when their bodies are cremated, transform into a collection of small circular-shaped beads about the size of the grain, about the size of the smallest one is a small grain, and the biggest one is well, I don't know how to say. The three sides of the relics come up. Sometimes this kind of the unusual, very mysterious phenomena happen due to the intentional preparation of the saint. There's an intentional preparation of the saint. They have to make an effort before they enter into the Pranidhana. May my bodies, especially the bones, transform into the relics so that people can take it in their homes and their monasteries and place it in the shrine room, or in case enshrine it in the pagodas. Anyone who pay respect to the memory of the Buddha in front of the shrine or in front of the Buddha will earn the merit. May they earn the merit, may this benefit their Lord. They have to make such kind of a special wish before they enter into the Pranidhana. And based on that kind of the special adhitthana, special intentional effort, when their bodies are cremated and all the flesh, blood, and sinews and nerves are transformed into ash, but the bone mostly transformed into the relics and circulation relics. All the wholes of Buddha's bodies transform into those kind of circulation relic. And people, especially the king, the feudal kings of that time, they just want those relics. Some of them want all of them. So there is a dispute arise among them, and they quarrel. And then the donor, who is the great teacher of those kings and those people, because he is the teacher of them, when they are young kids and young prince, he taught them important arts of literature, medicine, astrology, and Vedic texts. So most of them are his children. So he can wield a lot of influence over them. So he served as a judge. Buddha saw this ahead of time, even before he entered into, many years before he entered into Pranidhana. He saw, Dona, this man is very important. When I'm in God, this person will serve as a judge so that he will make peace among the quarreling kings and princes. So intentionally, while he was traveling on the way between the city of the Okta and the city of Siddhartha. Buddha just traveling there. In the Dona, the Brahmin also traveling on the same road. But the Buddha is ahead of him. Buddha intentionally make an effort to impress his footprint on the surface of the soil on the way, so that the Brahmin donor can see the footprint of the donor. Normally, Buddha's speed and the way Buddha walk is very quick. And most of the time, his foot impression never remain on the road. Why? If his footprint remains on the road, it is not good for people to walk on the footprint of the Buddha. They will earn a lot of demerit. It's a bad action. So in order to avoid this kind of situation, Buddhas intentionally leave no trace, no footprints. Buddhas can leave their footprints intentionally. So in this case, he tried to leave one trace of his 2 feet, 2 footprints marks on the road. Then Dona Brahmin saw that, oh, these footmarks are very interesting. These are not of the ordinary person. These must be extraordinary person's footprints. According to the Vedic text, such kind of the marks on the foot are only reserved for the special people. So he knew that. And Buddha was also ahead of him, but he take a rest under the tree, sitting under the tree in a cross-legged position, in a meditative mood, being absorbed in the blissful trance. And Dona, who continued the trip on the road, saw the Buddha staying there, sitting there. Then he approached the Buddha. He saw the Buddhas very calm and very peaceful. Then he asked, he approached. After approaching the Buddha, he said, "Are you divine being?" "No, Brahmin, I'm not divine being." "Then are you a celestial musician being?" "No, I'm not Gandharva, musician, celestial being." "Are you a demon?" "No, Brahmin." "Are you human being?" "Brahmin, I'm not also human being." Buddha answered. Then Dona was very confused. "Sir, I'm very confused. When I ask you, are you a human being? You say I'm not divine being. When I ask you, are you a Gandharva, a celestial musician, divine being? You say no. Then when I ask you, are you a demon? You answer no. And also when I ask the question, are you a human being? Then you answer no. What kind of person you are in the world? Then Dona asked this question. Then Buddha answered, "Well, Brahmin, I have already eradicated those eternal taints, eternal stains, eternal defilements in my spiritual flow. I have already taken out them. I have already rooted out without any recurring. Because of that, I'm not going to be a divine being again. I'm not going to be a celestial musician, divine being. I'm not going to be demon. I'm not going to be human. I'm just in the eternal peace and bliss of Nibbana." Brahmin, I would like to show you a metaphorical example. Saying this, Buddha said, now let me go what Buddha said. Sayatapi Brahmana, Opananwa, Padumanwa, Pondrikanwa, Utake Jatan, Utake Sanwadan, Utaka Ichogama, Datati Anupa Laitan, Utakena. Brahmin, just as a red lotus or the white lotus or a blue lotus grown up in the water and planted in the water, but it exists beyond the surface of the water, being separated from the water, never stuck in the water. Ewa mewa ko aham jamana, loke jato, loke samoto, loka pipunya viharami, anupalito lokena. In the same way, Brahmi, I was born in the war. I grew up in this war. I overwhelmed the way of the war, and without being stuck in the way of the war. So these are very important words. Then Buddha continued to say, Buddha Dimam Brahmana Dari, Brahmin, you recognize me as the Buddha, not as some other category. You just only recognize me as the Buddha. So the Buddha's response to the Brahmin donas are very simple. They also point the way the enlightened saints live their life. In this discourse, Buddha said, I was born in the war. I grew up in the war. This is the truth. Buddha said truthfully, but I live by being overwhelmed, being overcome out of the war, being removed from the war, without being stuck with the ways of the war, the ways of people. What does it mean? It means very deep. In the commentary, it explained that Pali war is a bibonya viharami. Lokam bibonya viharami. Lokam means to the war, to life, to the way of life. It's an accusative case. A bibonya is a jiran. It means that having being taken off, or being not submerged. Viharami, I dwell. I live being out of the war, being removed from the war, the way of the war. Commentaries explain that Aramana wasena. This is the one important word used by the commentary. So it means that most people, they live life, they involve in life, they interact, they experience, they react. Sometimes their experience good and bad. Their reaction is also good and bad. And their experience in this case is a mixed, bittersweet experience. Sometimes pleasure, sometimes pain, sometimes happiness, and sometimes suffering, happiness. Because their mind is fully involved in the action, in the experience. The focus of their mind is within this kind of the interaction. Quite unlike the way ordinary people live. The mind of the enlightened saints, like the Buddha and then like others, are different. Even though they are living and interacting, involving in daily activities and daily interaction, their experience is very stable and very strong and not affected by all the positive or negative conditions of experience they live through. Even if situation is very bitter and very painful, very sad and happy, they don't feel it. This does not mean they lost sensitivity. They don't lose sensitivity. But their mind itself is very strong. In one point, I already mentioned about that. The mind of the enlightened saint is the rock, like the rocky mountain, very strong, very stable, unshakable by the heavy ones. So the Buddha's mind, enlightened, the mind of enlightened saints is very strong and very calm and never agitated. They have spiritual grace and spiritual serenity all the time. They know things come and go. Nothing lasts forever. Things come and go. Just come in and then will pass. They just do it very clearly without being attached to people and things. Oh, this is my friend, this is my family, this is my father, my mother, oh, this is my God, this is my money, this is my business, etc. They don't have such kind of attachment based on the notions of being mind or self. Because they have such kind of very liberated mental states, they can enjoy life. They can live life to the fullest. They can live life in peace and serenity. That's how the mind of the Buddha and enlightened saints function in their daily life. I think I have already shared about the incident Buddha has to live through. At one time, when Buddha was staying in the Gajakuta hill on the cave, during that time, Buddha was walking, pacing up and down in his walking meditation in front of the cave. Then Buddha's brother-in-law, Devadatta, trying to haul down the big boulder in order to kill the Buddha. And that big boulder came rolling down the slopes. And another big boulder come up and stand in the way of that track, and thus preventing that boulder from falling down to the Buddha. All this process happened out of nowhere, not with the assistance of the Sun Divine Being, but with the assistance of the Buddha's own meritorious deed or spiritual energy which he has accumulated in many countless previous lives as a bodhisattva. He fulfilled those good deeds for the benefit of the people, for saving suffering people, not for himself. This spiritual power, known as the meritorious energy, come and protect the Buddha. So another big Buddha come and stand on the way. Out of that impact of the rolling Buddha and the standing Buddha, a small fragment of the rock come out of it and breaking down and it being hauled down to the Buddha's feet. It hits Buddha's feet at the point which is called the ankle point of the Buddha, causing excruciating pain. For ordinary people, they will fall down and they will be unconscious. But in the Buddha's case, Buddha remained conscious, alert, and while he's standing, he looked up toward the slope. He saw his brother-in-law, Devadatta. He just said calmly, Devadatta, you have committed very grave offense by causing the bruise on the Buddha, the Tathagata's body, which will lead to the bad consequence. He just only say this word. He doesn't say any kind of the angry or any kind of untoward action. Saying this word, Buddha just go into the cave. The monks come run into the Buddha, and they will carry the Buddhas on a stretcher. So this is what has happened in the Buddha's time. Buddha has a lot of the barrier experience or bad experience, especially regarding the bad people in his life. He was sometimes insulted. He was sometimes hard derogatory words by people who are not a disciple of the Buddha, who are very staunch supporter of the other idea, other religious beliefs. He never showed any kind of bad manner. He just lived through it peacefully. Instead, he even had the compassionate thoughts toward that person. So we have to follow the example of the Buddhas, which is mentioned in this work. A person who have attained spiritual progress, who have made some sort of progress, we must try to live life like ordinary people. We must have a resilient spirit, a resilient mental dynamism, so that we remain agitated and affected. We can move on with the daily life. This is a very beautiful example shown in this discourse. Okay, now let's have a break time. Okay, welcome back. Now, I'm going to explain you the protective power of the Dhamma in a person's life, because it is very inspiring to know the protective nature of the goodwill, especially in this case, no ordinary goodwill. A very powerful spiritual state, which is no longer contaminated with the negative mental states. A spiritual person, especially those who have attained perfect enlightenment, the moment they attain perfect enlightenment, they can remove specific mental, negative mental condition based on the degree of the enlightenment. In Buddhist texts, it is mentioned that those who attain the first stage of enlightenment, they overcome doubt. They overcome doubt and become convinced. And they can slowly loosen the craving and anger, because the lobha and the dosa, the two negative mental forces, are very strong for ordinary people. And they can slowly reduce the influence of those negative mental states. And those who have attained the second stage of enlightenment, they can slowly, progressively reduce negative mental quality, mental states, even though they are not able to totally root out those negative mental states. Everything becomes more manageable, and their anger and their defilements more easily managed. For those who have attained the third stage, they can notice significant capacity to remove anger. Once they have attained the third stage of enlightenment, they can see more purity of the mind, more clarity of the mind, and no more anger, and no more attachment or craving. They become more reduced, but they still remain stuck in the ways of life, especially desire for life, etc. But those who have attained the first and the last stage of enlightenment, they can rid of all defilement, all of that then, once and for all, without any recurring process. So because of this nature, the mind of those who have attained the final stage of enlightenment are always pure and powerful. Because of that, even though some of them may not possess psychic power, they have some natural mental powers coming up due to that kind of the purity of the mind. This purity of the mind is very protective. Even in Buddhist texts, it is recorded that if a person is going to attain the final stage of enlightenment in the time of the Buddha, or maybe in the time of the other times, that kind of person is called the Pichima Bhuika. Pichima Bhuika means the one who is going to attain enlightenment. Even though they may not attain enlightenment yet, the power of meritorious energy is within their spiritual flow. So that spiritual flow itself is also protective. How protective it will be shown by an incident which I'm going to share. And that person's name is called the Dabat. Dabat is a well-known name among the great disciples of the Buddha, Venerable Dabat. Venerable Dabat was actually belonged to the royal lineage in the northeast India, in today's Uttar Pradesh. And that royal family is called the Manla, and where Buddha entered into Nirvana is in the kingdom of the Manla, in the city of Kushinagar. So when he was born in the current life into the royal family of the Manla, his mother passed away a few days before he was born. The fetus of Venerable Dava still inside the mother's womb, but the mother passed away. Normally, with the death of the mother, the fetus inside, the child inside will die, unless there's a cesarean section procedure. But in ancient time, how they can have cesarean C-section part? So when the mother died with her pregnancy in the last semester to give birth, but due to some serious sickness, sudden sickness, she passed away. Then family members took the dead body to the cemetery, put that corpse and the heap on the heap of the drying woods and firewoods. They cremate. We can understand the baby is no way to survive. But anyhow, the boy survive. The would be Dava, Venerable Dava survive. How he survives? When the body is cremated, because of the heat, the body, the stomach surface bursts out, and the fetus just come out of the fire. I think, according to my assumption, the fire is not totally burning yet. It's just come out, and some of the woods already start catching the fire. At that moment, maybe not extreme heat. Then the baby was blown out and fell down on the thick grass. People are very surprised. They just go and look for it. And they found the boy still alive, the baby boy still alive. So they just took the baby by rubbing around with their clothes. And they just took the baby and they just brought the baby to the parents of the dead lady. So the aunts, the great aunts of Venerable Dabbas, adopted that baby boy, and he grew up. He grew up, and when he reached 7 years of age, he himself was interested to be a novice. So he requests his great grandmother, Granny, I would like to be a novice in the monastery. Please take me there and permit me to be a novice. His grandmother accepted it. He was brought to the monastery. He was brought to the Buddhas, and she mentioned that her grandson would like to be novice. So Buddha accepted. Buddha ordered one monk to shave the head and to get him, to initiate him into the novicehood. While the heads and the hair on the heads are being shaved, he was taught a meditation, a very simple meditation for the young people, for the beginner. This kind of the meditation is called the Tajapanchaka Kamathana. It is to be practiced by reciting. So there are various kind of meditation, not only sitting and focusing on the breath or on the observing this and that. We can also practice meditation by reciting certain aspect of the body or certain things. In this case, the boy was taught to recite that the Chapanchaka Kamthana. I want to share what that means. Ati imas minka yekisa loma nakha danda dacho. Here in this body, there is the hair on the head. There's bodily hair. There are the nails. There are teeth. There are skins. All these are part of the body. They are just of their own accord. They just arise and pass. And this body is made out of this kind of parts, etc. So the boy was very sharp because he has a lot of good balamis, a lot of good deeds in the past lives. So he attained the first stage of enlightenment by developing the inside knowledge, being able to see things, the physical body and the mind as it is. So he became an enlightened saint. Because he has attained even up to the final stage of enlightenment, he has nothing necessary to practice meditation. So he can enjoy the spiritual bliss. But he is still very young. He thought he should do something for the community. So he approached the Buddha. He approached Buddha request to assign him some particular responsibility. Even though he is young, Buddha knows he is no ordinary person. He's come from a very special life, from a special background in the past existence in the past lives with a lot of good paramis. So Buddha accepted his request. Buddha gave him an assignment to prepare the seats and the beds and the place for the visiting monks, visiting guest monks. It is the custom of the monks and the people to pay a visit to the Buddha at the time of the before the Vassa or at the end of the Vassa rains retreat. A lot of monks come every day, hundreds and thousands. It is a big challenge and big responsibility to assign a particular place of accommodation. The Venerable Dabba was in such a responsible position. He has to arrange the bedding and all the necessary accommodation for those guests. Sometimes some guests, monks, they arrive intentionally at the late time before it gets dark, so that there's a darkness. Venerable Daba possessed the psychic power, all the 6 kind of psychic power he possessed. By means of psychic powers, at the night time, he used the fingers as a candle. By means of the Aloka Kasina meditation, you may heard about that. And he just used his finger as a torchlight. By means of that light, he just took all the monks to different accommodation places located in the different monasteries. And telling them, you stay here, you stay there, you stay at that place, that's a result for you, etc. He just do it very responsibly and very fairly. It's very well known in the Buddhist text. So I want to keep the story short. It is his nature to do responsibility for the monastic community and for the devotees. He is very famous as a Venerable Daba, and he was received the exalted position as the Senasana Panyapaka, arranger or assigner of the accommodation for the monks all his lifetime. But at the one time, I think I don't know how old during that time he may be. He requested the Buddha because he found out his lifetime is already expiring, going to expire on such and such a date. He know that his lifetime is going to expire. By means of his psychic ability, he know that his time of life. So he approached the Buddha, he requested the Buddha to let him enter into Pranirvana. This story is recorded in the Uddhana Pali text, and there are 2 discourses which mention about Venerable Daba. The first one is called the first Venerable Daba discourse. During that time, Buddha was living in the city of Rajagiri in the Bamboo Grove monastery, where the black squares are given the sanctuary. Then Venerable Daba approached the Buddha, and having paid respect to the Buddha and sat down at the appropriate place, and then he requested the Buddha, Lord Buddha, it is time for me to enter into Pranirvana. Now lifetime has already expired. Buddha said, okay, Yasa Dhani Tun Davakala means you. Buddha said, well, you know the time. Buddha said only this word, you know the time means you can go ahead. Then Venerable Daba, having paid respect to the Buddha, he just get up, he just go out and he just flew up into the sky, sitting on the sky in a cross-leg position. He entered into the Tejodas Dhatu Kasina. Tejodas Kasina means fire element meditation. He just entered into the fire element meditation, and he reached up to the fourth state, and then he just come out of that meditation. He just entered into nirvana by burning his body. By burning his body, it's not committing suicide. Excuse me. The power of the mind-generated fire itself consumed Venerable Daba's body. While he is in cross-leg sitting position on the space, people see only a ball of the fire, a fire ball just come up out of the body. consumed the whole body, leaving no trace, no ash, no bone, no physical remains. How the enlightened saint can perform this is very interesting. Only by the mind, by means of the psychic power. In Buddhist text, in that discourse, it is clearly mentioned that Thago Asmado Devasamala Buddhasa Vyasan Abogandoa Agasi Andaliki Palingi Na Nisidua Dejodadum Sama Bijidua Wutidua Prini Buddha Srirasa Jaya Manasa Dekya Manada Newa Charika Panyayita Namasi. Having sat down on the space in sitting cross-legged position, while the Venerable Dava's body was being consumed by the mind-generated, psychic power-generated fire, there remains no ash. There remains no charcoal. Regarding this, in the Buddhist text, in that discourse, it's clearly mentioned about the metaphorical completion. Seyatabi nama Sabaisawa Telasawa Jaya Manasa Desha Manasa Newa Charika Panyayati Namasi. Just as the ghee or the oil and being burnt by the heat of the fire and left no ash, nor any kind of the burn out trace. In the same way, when Venerable Daba entered into Nirvana in the cross-legged sitting position on the spade, while his body was being burned, consumed by the mind-generated heat, no ash, no charcoal left out of that, leaving no trace. So what it means is that sometimes we may have an experience when we are frying something by use of the frying pan or a wok on the fire. Extreme heat, due to extreme heat of the fire, that ghee, we put on the ghee or the butter or the cooking oil into the frying pan or maybe on the wok. The whole heat consume all the ghee, leaving no trace on the bottom surface of the pan and wok. But we have to be very careful into this, that the fire can start burning the whole and the ghee also. What it means is that extreme heat just exhausted all the liquid nature of the ghee and cooking oil, leaving no trace. In the same way, when the enlightened saint's body was cremated by means of this mind-generated fire in the process of the psychokinetic energy, there's no more trace left, unless there is a special arrangement of the saints. If there's a special arrangement, such as may mind body, out of mind body, there remain physical relics. If there's such a preparation out of that burning process, the relics can remain. But in this case of Venerable Dava, there's nothing left. So in this story, Venerable Dava, while he was in mother's womb, he has not attained enlightenment. Then his mother died before he came out of the mother's womb. And his mother's body was cremated. Then he survived fire. How and why? Because of the power of the enlightenment he is going to attain. That spiritual power, which he is not yet attained, but which he is going to attain, and itself serves as a protective power. In Buddhist, it is clearly mentioned about that. Such kind of mysterious and very hard to explain incidents used to happen in the world, but in the case of enlightenment saint, it is much more difficult to explain. In this story, regarding Venerable Daba's story, how he survived is very interesting, impossible. Sometimes a plane crash, only 2 people, only 1 people survive. Such kind of thing we heard about that. But in the case of enlightenment saint, this is a rare incident recorded in Buddhist text. And there are 2 incidents, Venerable Daba and Venerable Sankeja is also the same thing. Venerable Sankeja, he also attained the enlightenment at the 7 years of age. Before he was born, let's say a few days before he was born, his mother died, and same tragic situation. And his mother's body was cremated, and people left cremating the body, thinking that all the whole body will burn out. But luckily, the boy survived, and the fetus come out of the extreme heat out of the stomach due to extreme heat. It fell down on the bush, and next day when people go there to collect the ash and remains, they found the baby, and that baby is Sankeja. So these two incidents are recorded in Buddhist text, so we can understand the power of the wholesome spiritual energy is very powerful. It has protective power. Anyone who practices meditation, regardless of religious belief, will be protected by his spiritual power, his wholesome spiritual energy. He doesn't need to be some sort of a believer or non-believer. The power of the mind itself, protective. If a person has already made substantial progress in one's meditation practice, that power itself is powerful, protective. So once we understand this, we have to accept the power of the Dhamma, the power of the wholesome spiritual mental condition, spiritual condition. They are very powerful. We human beings are gifted with this kind of unique spiritual energy. We need to train, we need to develop, we need to purify, we need to bring it to high degree of the progress, high degree of purity through the proper training and proper method. This is a very inspiring spiritual part. Buddha's teaching is one of the very liberal. There's no preconditions for anyone. In other religious traditions, you have to be a believer in order to benefit. In Buddhism, no. There's no such framework. You can practice meditation and you will get benefit. It's like the food. The daily food you eat is nobody's food. It's universal food. The eating is a universal routine, universal show, universal practice. The food will not discriminate based on race or status. The Dhamma is like that. The Dhamma is universal. A mother's goodwill, a mother's unselfish love to her child is universal, regardless of whether she be a Jewish lady or Jewish mother or a Christian mother or a Muslim mother, a Buddhist mother or a communion mother. That mother's true love to her offspring is always pure and always wholesome. In the same way, the greed and anger of a criminal or any devout Buddhist or any religious person. It's also the same. It can cause harm, it can bring a lot of problem to the person and to other people associated with that person. So this is what Buddha taught. This is what's called the Dhamma and Adhamma. In this world, there are only two things, Buddha said. One is called the Dhamma, positive, wholesome energy, positive, wholesome things. And the other is called the Adhamma, unwholesome, bad, negative thing. So positives are goodwill, basic humanitarian goodwill, such as compassion and love and generosity and forgiveness, broad-mindedness, etc. Adhamma, on the other hand, are negative mental states of all human beings, even the animal. They have this kind of positive and good mental states and negative and bad, evil mental states. These are two kinds of power which determine the outcome in the world. In Buddhist, it is called Nai Dhammo Adhammo Cha Uvosma Vipakino. There are only two things, Dhamma and Adhamma, wholesome and unwholesome, positive and negative. Now, wholesome and positive bring joy and happiness, and negative and unwholesome lead to suffering and happiness. Adamo niryan neti, dhammo papeti sukte. Unwholesome and negative dhamma lead to the hell, lead to all kind of suffering. Dhammo papeti sukte. The wholesome dhamma, the positive dhamma, lead to well-being, happiness, and to the heaven. This is what Buddha said. He doesn't use the term Buddha's teaching. Buddha's teaching lead to heaven, and those who follow Buddha and become Buddhists are going to heaven due to their being Buddhist. Buddha never said like that. What Buddha says is very universal and very broad. And anyone who practices Dhamma will benefit by it. Anyone who go against the Dhamma, who just only practice Adhamma and live a life of Adhamma, and then he will have a problem. He will have suffering. Because the Dhamma and Adhamma, they are both self-manifesting and self-evident. Like the poison and the medicine. The medicine, self-effective. If you take it and put it into your mouth, then it will help you. And if Adhamma, the point, like the poison, and take it and apply it, use it, then it will cause harm, like the poison. So this is the role of the Dhamma and Adhamma in Buddha's teaching. The meditation and the spiritual development and ethical development and ethical practice are the pathway to the Dhamma, major pathway to Dhamma. If we walk on the path of the righteousness and the Dhamma, and we are sure to get a good outcome and positive results. There's no one we need to ask for to help us. We just only can use it. Everything is up to our choice and our decisions, our action. We can be moral or we can be immoral. We can be good, we can be bad. But in order to be good, we need to have the right understanding, right knowledge, right mental state. In order to have right mental state, we have to have knowledge so that we can improve our mind, our mental conditions. We never should be beholden to our whims and our emotions. Most of people are like the slaves of their mind. They remain passive. Whatever their mind comes up, whatever their desire or their mental condition comes up, they just act out their emotions and practical action. Regarding this, there are special 18 attributes of the Buddha's personality, Buddha's personality. They are very remarkable. Of those 18 special virtue of pride, there are 3 things mentioned in Buddhist text. It is very much interesting and inspiring to learn. It means that sabbam kaya kama jnana popengama jnana nuprivutta. Bodily actions of the Buddha are always preceded by wise thinking, wisdom. Bodily actions of the Buddhas always follow wise mental knowledge and mental states. In the same way, sabbam vachikama jnana popengama jnana nuprivutta. By the action of the Buddha, any word used by the Buddha always precede by wisdom and knowledge. And all the speech, everything, every word uttered by the Buddha always follow and managed by wisdom. Sabba manokama jnana popengama jnana nuprivutta. Buddha's mental states are always under the control of wisdom and knowledge. Buddha's mental conditions are always managed and always follow Buddha's wisdom. So it means that when Buddha is about to do something, or about to say something, he never do it casually or spontaneously on the spur of the moment. He just only check whether it is necessary to do that, to do that, to do this, etc. Only after checking the consequence, pros and cons, he used to perform that physical action. In the same way, when he going to say something, he check whether it is necessary or not, whether it can benefit people or not, whether it is truthful or not. Only after checking by wisdom, he speak. And while he is speaking, his wisdom and his knowledge is also checking it. So, Buddha rarely speak for no reason, such as the way we used to say things out of the friendliness or out of the social interaction, the need to social interaction. Buddha doesn't do that. Buddha always remain calm and silent. His mind always remain focused on the Vimukti Dhatu and the Nibbana bliss. His mind is always inclined toward the Nibbana bliss. At the same time, he can aware what's going on outside. That's why he can successfully, normally interact with the people. Only when necessary, he just speak. He just do necessary thing. Otherwise, most of the time, he just remain quiet. These 3 characteristics are out of 18 characteristics. I hope one day I will be able to share those 18 characteristics. Those 18 characteristics or special 18 characteristics of the Buddhas are only unique to the Buddha. And once you know that, you can also try to imitate Buddha's action. And those are very wonderful aspects. And this is how Buddha can maintain all his bhava action and bodily action and his mental conditions under the watchful care of the wise knowledge, wisdom, and his powerful mind. In Buddhist text, Buddha possesses one of the unique qualities known as the Aisriya. Aisriya means the authority. Buddha has the authority, complete authority and complete command over his mind. This is one of the unique aspects of the Buddha. That out of the six, there are six kind of glory. We used to refer to as a Bhaga in Pali. Bhaga in English we translate it as a glory. There are six glories of the Buddha. One out of that, Isriya is one Bhaga, one powerful glory of the Buddha. The ability to maintain complete command and control of his own mind. Because of this complete command and control of his own mind, he can perform miracle. Not only that, he possesses psychic power, psychic ability. Also, he can control others' mind too. You may be very surprised to know about that. Buddha can control others' mind. Sometimes he intentionally use that mental energy. In one case, I want to share a very interesting story about a monk who followed the Buddha on a long trip to visit Venerable Revata, who is the youngest brother of the Venerable Sariputta. Venerable Sariputta's youngest brother, Venerable Revata, living in the acacia forest. All the acacia trees are full of thorns and dry, very lonely place for ordinary people. There's no way to be happy about that because it's not green forest, all the tropical forest full of the acacia tree. When Buddha was visiting that place, Venerable Revata prepared all the accommodations, a lot of them, for 500 of them. And that monk started thinking that how this young monk, Venerable Sariputta's youngest brother, can do such kind of buildings all the time. He may not be meditating. He just only building. He's built all this kind of accommodation. It's useless. Living in the forest, building such kind of thing, instead of practicing meditation, he has such kind of thought. Buddha know his mind. So when it is time to go back, to leave the forest monastery, and Buddha intentionally make that man to forget his accessory. Then the monk, together with the other monks, ran toward all the monks, because all the monks are going back. And only after he was out of the monastery compound, he remembered, oh, I forgot my bag for the ropes and small bag for the ropes and my belt and also water strainer. Oh, I just put somewhere in the building and hang it there. He just go to bed there. He found all the tree. He cannot find his accommodation place. What he can find is his accessories are hanging on the tree branch. So after taking those things, he just come back. So this is what is happening. Buddha did this intentionally in order to teach a lesson about the role of the psychic power, how Venerable Revata can arrange such accommodation for a large number of people by use of psychic power. When psychic powers are cancelled, all the trees remain, no more accommodation left. So that man, once he reached back city of Savatthi, next day morning he just go to the wealthy lady Visakha's house in order to have the rice porridge and snacks. Then Visakha asked, Penny, I heard that you just come back from the trip to the visit then the Venerable Sariputta's younger brother's place. Yes. Is that good place? No, it is full of the very thorny acacia fruits and acacia trees, and it's really disappointing. He replied that. Then she thought, okay, I must ask more other monks also. She asked other monks, Pani, I heard that you come back from the recent trip with the Buddha, from a visit to Venerable Sariputta's younger brother's Revata's place in forest. Is that place good? Oh, that place is very wonderful. Everything is well arranged, well organized. I'm really enjoying the forest. Then because she is very intelligent, she knew, oh, 2 months gave me different answer. There must be something mysterious. So she know that maybe some sort of the power play may be involved in this. The other must say good and very livable place, very good place. The other must say, oh, it's very downy and full of the acacia tree, downy roots. So the Buddha came at the lunchtime together with the monk. And then Buddha, she asked the Buddha, but I have the different answer from the 2 different monks coming back from the trip, your recent treasure study. One monk replied me that that place is very dull and very lonely place, full of thorny bush and acacia trees. A woman told me that it is a really wonderful, well organized and well planned and livable place. I assume that there's some sort of mysterious thing going on. Power play, maybe psychic power play. Buddha said. Buddha doesn't give the right answer. Instead, Buddha said, Visakha, you have to understand that anywhere, any place, even if it's a lonely and barren place, or it is a very lovely and lush green, beautiful forest with a beautiful rivers and streams and waterfall full of love, it makes no difference for enlightened holy saint. Enlightened and holy saint find joy, peace, and comfort and everywhere he lives, regardless of the conditions of the place. That's a Buddha's reply. It's recorded in the Dhammabhra text. So let me conclude our class by encouraging you to continue your study on the spiritual part, not only for ethical development, but also for spiritual development. And also don't forget to apply what you have learned, especially daily meditation, even if it's maybe for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And don't hesitate to practice meditation, but don't force at the same time. Don't push yourself too much. Just be relaxed. The purpose of meditation is to relax, to enjoy, to attain peace, etc. You just have the right attitude. And slowly progress. And this way you will enjoy your spiritual journey and your spiritual exploration. May all of you progress on your spiritual journey. May you attain peace and happiness and supreme bliss of Nibbana. May your mind and your intellect be liberated like the mind and intellect of the Buddha and all those enlightened saints. Okay, now if you have question, please feel free. Do you have the question?
I can give everybody a second. I don't know if anybody has any yet, but.
I had a comment, Sayadaw. It would be
yes. Go ahead.
It would be correct to say that an ethical society would be less self-centered. An ethical society would be less self-centered.
Well, this question is a very big question.
Oh no.
And it depends on how you interpret to be self-centered or not to be self-centered. In Buddhist texts, carrying out good and wholesome things is threefold. In this case, more to make it more relevant, twofold. One is to establish oneself in a particular ground and foundation, and then helping others. And what it means is that you have to first trying to progress yourself first, then you help others. This process is called a more realistic approach. Buddha himself emphasized, until you are a bodhisattva. If you are a bodhisattva, you don't think about you as yourself. Just think about other people. But when you are doing some good work for other people, we have to establish ourselves in the first place, in the palm ground, in the palm foundation. This means that we have to fulfill our needs first, then fulfill other people's needs. Like the way an aeroplane is an emergency. When an aeroplane is an emergency, we have to get oxygen supply first. And only after oxygen supply is sure we are already getting it, we have other people. Because it's a life and death situation. In this case, what Buddha used is the term Adda Datta and Prata. Adda Datta means the well-being of oneself, and Prata means the well-being of others. And Buddha equally important, but you fulfill your own pot first with the water, then you share the water to other people. I hope you understand this idiomatic expression.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, more question? No more question?
I don't see any.
Okay, Brother Gauri, so are you in your home?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I see. I thought you are in Mava.
No.
Sister Kuan is not here in the class, so I will communicate with her on that and through the phone. So if you have no more question, and let's conclude our class today. And this course is now concluded. We are going to have the mock exam and exam next month. Please feel free, I would like to invite you, please feel free to contact me through email if you have any question, if you have any kind of clarification necessary. I will be very much glad to help with that. Just email me. Sometimes telephone communication may not be easy for us because I'm very busy and I'm occupying most of the time. So if you send me email, depending on my time and my condition, I will reply. Sometimes it may take time.
Thank you very much.
So can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Please feel free to email if you have a question in the future. You are always welcome for that.
Okay. All right. We'll make sure everybody has your email address.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay,
bye-bye. I wish
Thank
you
you.
peace, happiness, wisdom, and blessings.
Thank you.
I wish you progress on your spiritual journey and journey of life.
Thank you.